Thanks for staying with us. You're welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Experts have noted that the Federal Executive Council's decision to approve the sale of crude oil in Naira to Dangote Refinery is intended to stabilize fuel prices and the dollar-Naira exchange rate, easing the strain on foreign reserves and possibly bolstering the Naira. This action is viewed as a stride towards discontinuing the non-transparent domestic crude allocation scheme, improving transparency and efficiency. For Dangote Refinery, it guarantees a reliable supply chain, profiting from lower transaction costs and simplifications. Nonetheless, there are worries about the implementation, pegged exchange rates, and the part played by settlement banks. Experts insist that this policy change could have a substantial effect on local market dynamics and the wider energy sector. Chuks Emeka, who's an oil and gas consultant, is now offering insights on this matter on the show this morning. Good morning, Mr. Emeka. Good to have you on the morning show this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me on board.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. There are two issues involved in the intervention of the Federal Executive Council to have crude, sold to Dangote Refinery. And one is the fact that the FEC is saying NNPC make crude available. And then the second part is in Naira. Break this thing down for us, because there's a lot of, mumbo jumbo as to, if that's the lifeline for the Naira and what that means for Dangote with the capacity of the refinery at 650,000, barrels per day. Are we about to witness a new dawn as far as petrol supply is concerned in Nigeria with this intervention?
Thank you so much. I want to emphasize a lot in this saga that has been going on within NNPC and Dangote and the federal government.
Yeah.
I have to say it with all honesty, I don't think there's any refinery or an investment in this country that has gotten the kind of credibility and support that Dangote has received from the federal government and the CBN and the NNPC. So I think it is noteworthy that if this kind of thing this kind of credibility and support is also given to other refineries, because Dangote refinery is not just the only refinery we have yet in Nigeria. We have other modular refineries, we have other smaller refineries that are also operating here. We have the Watersmith refinery in Egbema. We have OPAC actually operating in Port Harcourt. So a lot of refineries are right now operating in Nigeria. And there are also some refineries that are going to come up in the near future. Now, my challenge and my confusion here is Dangote seems to take this thing too personal, because NNPC has what we call production sharing contract. And this production sharing contract stipulates that NNPC gets 60% of whatever crude that comes in, and 40% goes straight to JV partners.
Yeah.
Now, with the challenge over the period of time, in fact, I have to commend NNPC effort in making sure that they boost our production capacity from just 700,000 barrels per day to about 1.4 million barrels per day as of today.
Are we doing 1.4 as of today?
Yeah, as of today, we are around 1.4, 1.5. That is what we are getting per day. So let me put this in the oil and gas sector. More especially in Nigeria, any business, any refinery that is coming on board now must, first of all, have what we call, maybe able to have what we call other, raw material, getting their raw material from multiple sources. I think Dangote overlooked that area, because as a businessman, if I'm to set up a pure water company today, I'm supposed to have multiple options where I will get these waters to be able to sell to people, to be able to refine and sell to people. Even when I work with any, a granite oil producing company a few years back, we had multiple options where we are getting these things, these raw materials. I don't know why Dangote is making it too personal, too as if it's without him.
What is he making too personal?
Yeah, he's seeing it as if the only source of his crude oil raw materials for his processing plant, for his refinery, should come from Nigeria. That is not right.
No, but
650,000 barrels. Let me say,
Mr.
650,000 barrels per day is huge.
Yes.
For what? For our current production capacity is huge for Dangote to ask for.
But he sought crude elsewhere, and the same Nigerians are saying, why would Dangote be importing crude when we have sufficient crude here, when NNPC is there? I think that's the point of the intervention that the Federal Executive Council did last week, to say, NNPC, whatever you need to do, this is for our own good. Yes. You know, make provision for food for him and let him pay in Naira so that we don't... we are not...
Beyond this also, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did NNPC not pledge barrels of crude to Dangote for part ownership in Dangote refinery?
NNPC has plans to give Dangote crude. Nobody is disputing that. There are plans to give him crude.
They pledged it, not just plans.
Blending.
They pledged. They pledged the barrels.
They pledged.
To make it available for him.
Listen, when we say pledge is
No, this is not. I'm talking about, because you're positing that it's personal, but I'm positing that this is a business transaction, right? So if somebody pledges to give me a certain number of barrels of crude, I expect them to fulfill their end of the transaction. This is not personal. It's business.
Do you have any contract where that is signed? Do you have any document that shows that there is a pledge?
Well,
these things are just for sale. At this beginning of this refinery, I have to tell you with all honesty, CBN and NNPC gave Dangote a loan. So it's to tell you that they are supporting what they are doing, what Dangote want to do. But the challenge is, what is asking for is not feasible at the moment.
Why is it not feasible?
It's not feasible because there are. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
There are other refineries currently here now at the moment, and I want to be able to spell something.
Okay.
You know, we have 4 refineries. Do you know we have 4 refineries?
Owned by the federal
now,
government.
currently, the capacities of those 4 refineries as at their production capacity, if they are to be running now, is for about 450,000. Wait, now they are coming up. The PH refinery is almost coming up now.
If it's not,
they promised us August. We are in August. We haven't.
I said you can't use both words, coming up and running concurrently, because they don't mean.
It's either running or it's coming up.
Let me assume that Dangote is giving 650,000 barrels per day. Abi, you want him to be giving 650,000? That is just almost what NNPC gets from the sharing contract. And tomorrow the Port Harcourt refinery gets working, which is almost complete, and it gets working. Where do you expect those refineries to get crude from? Do you want them to go and get it?
Are you saying that NNPC will be stuck at the 1.4, 1.5 that we're doing now? Do we not have the capacity for more? Isn't it
Our
the
OPEC
responsibility?
quota, it should be
2.2, isn't it?
Yes.
Million.
NNPC's OPEC quota is about 2-point-something million barrels. But we have not gotten to the OPEC quota. NNPC is working hard every day to make sure they increase the OPEC to get to their OPEC target. But they've not gotten there yet because there are bottlenecks.
So if they've not gotten there, and the 4 refineries owned by Nigeria are not working yet, why is it difficult to give Dangote the crude that he will buy from Nigeria, and strengthen the Naira, and then make fuel supply available for Nigerians? Is there anything wrong with that?
Why is it difficult?
Listen,
Yes.
let me explain to you. I think you guys need to get this very clear.
Okay.
There is a sharing structure. That's number one. And secondly, Dangote is not the only refinery now.
The other refineries that you mentioned, how many are they getting? How many crude are they getting from NNPC? Are they getting at all? Because the modular refineries are not getting anything from the NNPC.
The other refineries?
The modular ones.
They are getting crude oil from NNPC too.
Are they?
Yes.
You are sure of that?
Yes.
Okay, so go on.
They are getting crude oil from NNPC. So it's not as if you are saying it as if it's only Dangote that is going to be giving crude oil. Who said so? Are we running a monopoly system here? Other refineries, currently as I'm talking to you, Bua is building a refinery. So are you telling me that Bua is saying, okay, I need 300,000 barrels? You will say you won't give it.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. We're talking about where we are now.
We're dealing with where we are as of today, based on
I want to also ask you, if you are a businessman and you're going to run this kind of big investment, are you supposed to put or just hope on just one source
He's not
of
putting,
crude,
he's
of
not
raw
putting all
material.
his eggs in one basket.
There is a feasibility study that those guys who build that refinery should have, which
Mr.
stipulates
Sorry, so I was
multiple
asking a question
options.
because we're not talking about something that's very important. Because I think it's a little bit of a pretense to act like, let's say, Walter Smith modular refinery is what is receiving a lot of our crude. The truth is that a lot of our crude is encumbered, right? Earlier, we took a $3 billion loan from Afrexim.
Yes.
And they've paid that in 2 tranches now. That's our future, that's oil futures, right? So our crude oil is going to go back to pay that loan. The NNPC is currently looking for another $2 billion, an additional $2 billion loan.
No, that's not verified yet.
The House of Reps,
any additional loan yet. These are speculations. These are the things we just hear.
It is not speculation if the House of Reps committee has asked the NNPC to not go for any further loan. That is not speculation. Are you saying the House of Reps is speculating? The House of Reps committee that has oversight over the NNPC are speculating.
There is no clear. This is not clear. This is an assumption. What we are saying
not
is
an
that,
assumption.
See, what we are. Let's stay on what we are talking about. The issue of giving Dangote.
Okay, and that is exactly that's what I'm saying. The crude is our crude. Yes, our crude. Let's. I want us to be very clear now. Our crude oil, as in layman's parlance, has been mortgaged. Our crude oil means.
What is the quantity? What quantity do you think has been mortgaged? No, tell me now. You that is you have any information. Tell me the quantity that has been mortgaged. Because the way people say it in the media, it's as if the whole crude oil has been mortgaged. Who told you that?
It is not.
What is the quantity? You
This is
that
the
has
problem.
the information.
See,
What quantity do you think has been mortgaged?
This is the problem. This is the problem with actually using resource-backed loans because the terms are obscure. Yes, is it transparent? Are resource-backed loan transparent? Do we know the terms? Do we know the SPV? What we do know is Afrexim. What we do know is the tranches where it's coming out.
What you should be asking is,
you need
information on what is going on this and this and this.
Yes.
NNPC will provide it for you.
NNPC will provide it for
Yes.
me. Have they provided it to the public?
Listen, you have not asked.
Let me come in there, Mr. Emeka, so that we can have this discussion in a way that it will be helpful, to the viewers. The key things, and I like, the area that Adeswa has brought in. If you have the information, in the public domain, we know how much has been pledged.
Yes.
For the amount of crude that we have gotten $3 billion from, another 2-point-something billion from. We know how much we're getting. What we do not know is the amount of crude that we have mortgaged and for how long, because they are into the future. That's a part of the question that I would like you to answer, because you are in the industry. So maybe you have information that we do not have. But I also want you to speak directly to the intervention of the federal government to get the Dangote refinery sorted so that Naira...
This thing is not just for Dangote refinery. That declaration is for all local refineries in Nigeria.
Fine. So how do you think that will be of assistance to the economy? That's what we want you to discuss.
Nobody is disputing that it's not going to have a positive effect in the economy.
How will it have
But what we are
positive
saying,
effect?
what I am saying is that based on what Dangote has said over time in terms of accusing NNPC of not giving him crude oil, those things are fallacies. Those things are not true.
What's not
They're
true?
not true because now even let's even go to the refinery. We have information that refinery, as we speak today, is not fully functional. So let's go back to the refinery
We don't
itself.
have any special information.
It's not even functional.
We know that from the regulators about the 45% blah blah.
Yes,
but we're saying
it's not fully functional. That's
hold on, sir. But we're saying at the back
now,
of that.
when the refinery is operating at 45%, do you know what it means? I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
If you say the refinery is operating at 45%,
yes,
you are telling me that out of all those major five distillates that is going to come out from that refinery, we may not get up to 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
That is what you're saying, which is actually a waste.
So the diesel that is
So if you are going to refine
and the
petroleum, you're going to
aviation
refine
fuel,
crude, you're going to refine diesel, you're going to refine kerosene, you're going to bring in gas, you're going to bring in ethanol. Now you're telling me that 45% of you're not fully functional for 45. You're just running at 45%. It's telling me that it's looking at you that you are not going to give me 3 products. So invariably, you're going to give me just maybe PMS.
Mr. Emeka.
What
Hold on, sir. Just a moment. What Dangote refinery gives is for Dangote who has made the investment.
Yes.
So if he's doing diesel already, and doing aviation fuel already. And it says PMS is the next one. What problem do you have
he
with
has
that?
produced diesel.
He hasn't?
Okay, so Mr. Emeka, you asked earlier, you said how much is pledged in the Afrexim deal, right? It's 164 million barrels of crude. 164 million.
What?
That is pledged in the Afrexim deal. We've pledged over 250 million barrels of crude oil. NNPC
250 million barrels of crude oil?
Yes.
For what? What do we pledge it for?
Loans. You asked me, and I'm telling
Now,
you, the Afrexim.
yes,
No.
listen.
Please let me land.
Let me tell you the only pledge.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're on my show. Can I land?
Yeah, I'm
Thank
listening to you.
If we are pledging millions of barrels of crude in order to take loans for infrastructure and other programs or things that the government wants to do, right? Are we not then mortgaging our future in a way that is not transparent to the Nigerian public?
Let me explain. When you say you pledge 4 million barrels, is it telling you that you pledge 4 million barrels per day?
I said we pledged 164 million.
Barrels for how many years? Now let me tell you, the only pledge that has been made so far was a pledge of 90,000 barrels per day.
Okay.
90,000 barrels per day.
And 164 million in total.
For how long?
For the loan. That is what has been pledged. That's the only one that has been pledged. Any other thing you are talking about now, it does not
90,000 a day to total into how much?
Yeah,
does it not total into 164 million? 90,000 per day, 164 million in total. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
That is it now.
Oh, so you agree with her?
No, you are saying it as if when you were making this thing earlier, you say you spoke as if the whole crude oil that we are having every day has been mortgaged.
Not say
the figures. That's what she's saying. She has given you the figure. You doubted it, now you have come back to it. But anyway, Shaitan, you were going to ask him a question.
Sorry,
so let's.
I just wanted, because he had just earlier touched on the fact that NNPC didn't pledge, the crude oil about 35,000 barrels per day to raise funds to acquire a 20% stake at the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. You had mentioned earlier that it was just in passing, but it's actually confirmed here that in September 2021, they actually did pledge that amount. But let's even just go back to the reason why you're here. Bayo Ononuga mentioned that the exchange rate will be fixed for the duration of this transaction. Zakade Adedeji also highlighted that this policy will reduce the pressure on foreign exchange by up to 94%. I want to know how realistic this expectation is. I mean, we're seeing the body language of the president telling NNPC to make sure that these payments are done in Naira. How will this support reduction in foreign exchange pressures going forward?
Okay, I need to get that question very well, but let me just make some analysis first before I go deeply into that. The decision by the federal government to give Dangote crude in Naira is going to help to boost, or especially to help to stabilize our Naira, which is a good one. I'm not against that. It's also going to help other upcoming refineries who are going to have issues with sourcing dollars. Going to get dollars to be able to pay an NNPC before they get crude, because that is what is happening in the past. You look for dollars, you pay an NNPC, you get crude. Yeah. And apart from that, an NNPC also sells the crude outside, which is also helping to bring in, or you call it bringing dollars into the country, foreign exchange, which is also helping the economy. Yeah. Now, NNPC is going to invariably stop doing that by this decision being made by the federal government, which is going to help our Naira to stabilize a little. Mm-hmm. Nobody is this. I'm well agreed with that. Okay. But my own point is still very clear, which I'm saying is, why is Dangote relying so solely on Nigerian crude alone? Why is he doing that?
If it's available, why not? If it's not available, he has other options.
Now, is he saying that if there is no crude coming from Nigeria to him, that the refinery will not run?
He's not saying so.
That is what he's been saying.
No, he's not saying so. That's not what he's been saying. Except you've not been hearing him well. That's not what he's been saying. And the intervention, again, I return to it. The intervention by the FEC simply says that, it's premised on the fact that the crude could be made available. So let's see the quantum of crude that the NNPC is able to provide. And from what we have read so far, even though it's a 650,000 barrels per day, between now and August, they have pledged about 500,000, and they said by December, it will get up to 550. Those are the type of figures that we're interested in.
Thank you so much.
The capacity,
now, let me tell you, do you know NNPs have challenges also meeting this OPEC quotas daily?
Of course,
do you know that have the challenges?
Of course we are aware.
So now they are working on that. They are working on it.
Yes.
So if they are working on this thing, Dangote should also know that he has to be patient with NNPC too. If there's a disruption of supply, he should know that there is force majeure in his contracts too that states that if there is no supply, what does he do? Does he shut down the?
Of course he won't. Why do you keep emphasizing that if nothing comes from NNPC, will Dangote not exit? He will. He knows all his other options, doesn't he?
Yes.
Why is he not emphasizing on that all this while?
Well, I want to ask.
Getting it outside. Why is he not emphasizing on it?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Good. So if he's getting crude from NNPC or from Nigeria, especially in Naira, the idea is that it would be passed on to the Nigerian people in the form of lower prices.
Absolutely.
Right?
Which is key.
However, if he's buying crude internationally in dollars, the idea is that the refined end product will be more expensive for the Nigerian. Yes?
Let me put this clear. Buying crude across the world is done in dollars.
Yes, however,
that's the standard practice everywhere.
However, they have now made an exception.
What the federal government is doing now is just
just
a form of palliative
yes.
for Dangote.
Yes.
It's not
you said it's not just Dangote earlier. You said it is Dangote and other local refineries. Perfect. So the point is that if he is able to access more crude from NNPC in Naira, it will be cheaper for the average Nigerian to get products.
We are not sure yet
whether
it's going to give us a cheap rate. We are not sure. We are just everybody is still speculation because he's selling cement currently. Is the price he's selling the cement outside the country? Is it the one he's selling? Is it the same price as what he's giving us here in Nigeria? It's not true. It's not the truth. So nobody should assume. Dangote. I still want to say this. Dangote is a private entity. Whatever he decides at the end of the day after production and how he wants to sell his product, no law holds him to sell at 200 naira. There's no law that will hold him to sell at 300.
Has a stake in the Dangote refinery.
Who has a stake?
NNPC.
Yes.
And as such, Nigerians have a stake. Have a stake in it.
Which Nigerians have a stake?
All of us.
One of us.
Who told you Nigerians have a stake? This NNPC has a share in it.
Who owns NNPC?
Now, if NNPC has a share in it, what is stipulates that if we are going to if they want to sell any product, they are going to look at profit margins. That's number one, because it's not a charity organization. Dangote is not a charity organization. Dangote is a private-owned entity, just like any other company.
Nobody has said that.
Nobody has said that.
And we're not speaking to his goodwill.
So why are you saying that it is going to crash the fuel price? Who told you that?
We did not. I did not say that. I asked.
No, that is your assumption.
My assumption is that with a cheaper input, even if you maintain the same profit margins, the end price would be cheaper for the Nigerian people.
How do you?
That was
my question.
That was my question. But thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's been nice.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time and analysis.